we have one of the member asking such questions about follow-up in terms of delegation. In fact, they are the leader, but there's a when they have to follow up and with their subordinates, and the work has to be done yet. So what I suggest is maybe I would request Mr. Devarayan to ask the question. He's one of our member here. So Mr. Devarayan is HR from ABB Hitachi. So he is here with us to ask a specific question in terms of following up with respect to delegation. So Devarayan, go ahead and ask the question.
Super.
Yeah, thanks, Prakash.
Yes.
Good evening, Sahil, and hope
Hi.
things are safe and good.
Yes, hope things are good with you as well.
Yeah, thanks. Wishing the same. Fine. Actually, we were talking about the follow-ups and the delegation with the delegated tasks and other stuff, right? As leaders, we have to delegate tasks to our team members, and it is challenging for following up on every delegated task. We must have delegated so many tasks, and it is challenging to follow up on every delegated task. However, if at all we are not following up, the tasks will get delayed. So please advise what is missing in the follow-up, or what would be the best way of follow-up on all these things. It has been asked by one of our member from FMCG industry. So I would just request a good solution from you.
Sure. I think the answer lies in the basics. Like they say, the devil is always in the details, right? So what is the culture of that organization which is in the FMCG industry, right? I've seen many organizations that thrive on follow-ups. I have seen organizations where, the first email, no need to respond. If someone is marked in CC, depending on who is marked in CC, you will respond immediately. And otherwise, if it is a one-to-one email, even for 4 or 5 days, you will not respond, because that is the way people prioritize. So I think it goes back to the culture at an esoteric level. Let's come down to a slightly strategic level and leave these lighter moments aside. I think, what is the individual going through? Is there a certain level of empathy that we have? Is someone playing the role for 4 people? Is someone in a crunch team and having genuine problems and therefore not responding? Is there a skill issue? Is there a will issue? If there is a skill issue, how are we helping the person? Sometimes, I can go back to my own career when I was way younger, right? I started off my career and an email would hit me and I would wonder, oh shit, yaar, what do I respond to this? Likha, galat likh diya to aur takleef, more problems if I give a wrong reply. If I send a reply and the reply is okay, not okay, do I need to check with my boss, not check with my boss? I was always in that dilemma. And then getting time from my boss very earlier on was very, very difficult, because my boss was so busy. So by the time my boss got time to tell me what to respond, I would have got a reminder. He showed me in bad light. Yeah. And therefore, the whole concept of saying, what is the skill? What is the level of empowerment? Some people have the skill, but they have control people sitting on them, saying, no, you will not do this. I will tell you what to do and then you will do. Now, Devarajan may not know that Sahil is under this pressure. He may think I've written a mail to Sahil and Sahil is not responding. Then Devarajan may also say, but Sahil is a very good friend. Let me pick up the phone and speak to Sahil. Now Sahil is in a double fix because he knows the answer, but he cannot tell him. He cannot go and tell him, you know what, my boss has told me not to respond to you because I have to first discuss with my boss. Because if you go and tell my boss that, a real limiting move. So what should I do? So I have to play that game. And in the process of playing that game, this whole culture or reaction of follow-ups, trust issues, confidence, if I confide in you and we become very good friends, a different issue. So it's not an easy, straight answer, but the 2 or 3 paradigms I think one should definitely explore is understand what is the working dynamics. Is it a control dynamics? Is it a skill issue because of which the individual is not responding? Is it a will issue? Maybe I'm very, very low on motivation. Something has impacted me. I'm not at my best, right? Is it a temporary issue? Is it a permanent issue? Has it been happening for a long time? So one has to get into some level of these details to get to the diagnosis before you start treating the problem. And coming to this specific individual or one of your members who've asked this question, I'm more than happy to have an offline chat. But I think the culture of follow-up needs to be done away with. Because think about it, I have not met one person who has told me that follow-ups are productive. I have not met one person who has told me that follow-ups make people feel happy. I have not met one person who has said that follow-ups increase efficiency. You are just spending more time on the same. I would rather spend 1 hour explaining everything, creating a forum for the team to ask questions, clarify doubts, get full clarity, maybe even do a demo on a particular sales page or a particular transaction or a particular question, clarify all doubts, empower them, and if they still make mistakes, have their back, because that's how they will learn. But if I get into this control mechanism or this follow-up mechanism, I think it is absolutely futile. Because beyond the point, what will happen is it will hurt emotions. And when it hurts emotions, automatically people will get into a justification mode. And when people get into a justification mode, that is the worst place to be. Because you can justify yourself to someone else, but will you be able to justify yourself to your own self? I hope I've been able to answer the question. Actually, I may have gone slightly philosophical, but yeah.
No, true. Sometimes we need to take philosophy too to get into practical situations, right? To understand the practical situations, we need to understand the philosophy. Sometimes it is good to bring from there. Thanks, Sahil, for the straight away answer. And I think one has to be matured enough to understand the situations of means where to follow up, when to follow up, and how to follow up. Then
and more importantly, sorry to interject you, who to follow up with.